So then we got 3 and 4 here for the
Yeah.
AFC North quarterbacks.
Hmm.
This one is like actually a low key. Like I knew 1 and 2 was gonna be some back and forth probably, but like I don't know where you're landing on this, but I think this was a tough decision for me. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
Dude, I'm going. I went back and forth, dude. I want to say Burrow at 3. I just really do, but
Okay.
I think you got to give it to Baker. I think last year he had a bad situation for him. Freddie Kitchens. It was just a mess with all the hype and everything going into it. I think his offense is actually retooled and is even going to be better. Like he's got more weapons with Austin Hooper. You know, you got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb both together for a full season now. I'm sure this new offensive coordinator from the Vikings, Stefanski, he's going to come in and I think this could be a top 3. You correct me if I'm wrong. Top 3 just offensive setup. We were talking about setups for Ravens and Steelers. This might be the top 3 offensive setup in the league for a quarterback. Outside of
Yeah.
the line, maybe you could say it's a middle of the road line, but didn't they pick up someone? They pick up Conklin,
Well,
right?
they know they upgraded their offensive line.
Yeah,
So they picked up Jack Conklin, but then they also drafted Jedrick Wills, who you know what I mean was one of the
yeah, from Alabama.
going to be the number 1 or number 2 tackle off the board. So that's a major pickup. And then I think J.C. Treader, he's a guy who's had success as well. And then they still have Joe. I think it's Bitonio as well. They have shored up their offensive line a ton this year. So that was the big issue with them last year. They just couldn't protect Baker. I mean, we saw that in person a little bit when we went to that Browns game. But now that they've shored up that offensive line, from an offensive standpoint, they have a chance to be a top offense in this league because we know star power wise what they have from the skill position with OBJ, Jarvis, Austin Hooper. That's a major.
They have Njoku as their second tight end, who's a stud too, if he could stay healthy.
Yeah, and then your running backs, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So when you talk about your running back tandems, I don't think you're going to find a better 1-2 punch than those two guys. So for them, from an offensive standpoint, that's probably the best offensive setup that you can have right now.
Yeah, and I just think anything is going to be better than what happened with the Browns and Baker last year. Just with Kitchens as a coach, I mean, I don't want to say it was a failure waiting to happen just because I don't want to say that I knew, but there were people like Colin Cowherd. There were certain people saying like Browns are going to be a disaster this year because of the coach, and we saw how that played out. So I think you bring in Stefanski. He seems like he knows what he's doing, and he knows how he wants to run an offense. And Baker just has, if we're talking Baker versus Burrow, Baker has at least 2 NFL seasons under his belt where he was confident his rookie year, actually pretty good his rookie year for the most part. And then last year obviously wasn't good, but 2 years experience. And then with the setup he has coming back, I just think you got to give that nod with Baker over Burrow. And he, just as a basis, really, I don't know if Baker's going to go off this year, but I think Burrow coming in with the inexperience, then being with the Bengals, we talk about this, every couple podcasts, just the uncertainty of the offseason with rookies coming in. And then, both are going to be going up against AFC North competition. But, Baker has seen that before. I think it could be a little bit more difficult for Burrow going up for his first year going up against the Steelers and Ravens like that. So that's me.
Yeah. No, man, I agree 100%, man. When you're talking about the Browns setup for Baker, it's perfect. And when you talk about this offseason in terms of you not having the OTAs and the mini camps, at least you have a guy who already has 2 years experience. He understands the grind, the rigors of an NFL offseason, NFL season, how to prepare for it mentally and physically. So for me, I'm going Baker Mayfield at 3. And when you're talking about from an offensive standpoint, Joe Burrow, he's already going to be behind the 8 ball because of this offseason, but he's thrown right into the fire because they got rid of Andy Dalton. They didn't even need to do that, but they got rid of him, and now he's not even going to have a vet to look to learn from. At least if Dalton was there for a game or two, kind of like what we saw with Tyrod Taylor, and Baker had a chance to learn from Tyrod, figure out, okay, how to watch the film at this level, how to lead at this level. And then when you took
lower expectations even, just in general, yeah.
Whereas now with them getting rid of Dalton, who's Burrow going to look to? Ryan Finley? Hey, Ryan, dude, it's not a chance. So when I look at that, and then I look at the Bengals offensive line, it's still very, very bad. Now, granted, you still have Jonah Williams. That's going to be a big question mark in terms of him and his health because he missed last season. But outside of that, their offensive line is terrible, so he's not going to be protected. Now, from a receiver standpoint, I love his group. I told you why I had them ranked as the best wide receiver group
Yeah.
because they in the division because they got AJ Green, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Those three right there can ball. And like I said, we're projecting with T. Higgins, but we saw what T did at Clemson. And so for me, like I'm very confident in that. But outside of those guys and Joe Mixon, there isn't a lot around. You know what I mean? In terms of the health of that offensive line, in terms of productivity of the offensive line. And then also, like I said, with AJ Green, you're still hoping and banking that he can come back to a form of what he was, 2 years ago now? But there's still going to be some concerns with that. Whereas with Joe, he hasn't had the opportunity to make a stand, like to have already experienced what it's like to be in the NFL, to lead these men, to understand a 16-game season, the physicality, mentally and physically that goes with that. So that's why for me, I have him at the fourth quarterback in this in the AFC North.
Yeah, I do think Burrow's been making all the right moves here, just just from the outside looking in. I know he definitely had some of that moxie and bravado in college. Like actually both of them did, Baker and Burrow. Okay. But it seems like ever since Burrow's gotten drafted, he's been just kind of like low key and just been humble about things. So I think he's been playing it right so far. Yeah, I was trying to think, man, can I really put Burrow over Baker right now? I just don't think I can. I couldn't really make an argument for it. I kept trying to reach for things, but it just made way more sense that Baker is at the 3 spot and Burrow is 4. So, yeah, I guess we agree on that then.
We could definitely agree on